Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and today, as we've all heard, Von Miller has been traded to the Los Angeles Rams from the Denver Broncos. The compensation is 2 day 2 picks in the 2022 draft. I really like the move for both teams. I'll talk through why Von Miller is going to make such an impact for the Los Angeles Rams, but I hope you enjoy the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment what you think about the video, about Von Miller and how the Rams are being so aggressive. Let me know what you think. Let's get into it. So yes, as I said, the Broncos are sending 8-time Pro Bowl linebacker Von Miller to the Los Angeles Rams in return for a second and third round pick in the 2022 draft. It leaves the LA Rams without many picks in the 2022 draft at all, but it's very clear that they're going all in. They want to try and take that defense back to the 2020 standard, and the deal makes sense for both teams. The Broncos aren't going to be, amazingly successful this year, so it makes sense for them to try and accumulate picks. And for the Rams, it helps Aaron Donald on the D-line, and combined with him, Jalen, Ramsey, that defense looks ferocious now. Now let's get into the film study on why Von Miller is going to make such an impact. So there's 3 points that I'm going to go through: his pass rush and his standard move, his counter pass rush, and his effect in the run defense. So Von Miller has almost trademarked this move. It's called the ghost pass rush, and it's just essentially making yourself as skinny as possible as you go past the offensive tackle. It's a speed rush, so you'll get into the outside as quick as you can, and you're just making yourself really, really skinny and getting low to the ground. And that is such a hard position to block as an offensive tackle. And this sack to get to Derek Carr is absolutely no different. So he sets it from the wide 9 technique. He is a true outside linebacker, a true stand-up guy on the outside. And the tight end barely gets a chip on him because he makes himself so thin again. And then when he gets to the offensive tackle, because the tight end didn't really get much of a chip on him, Von Miller's already got some really good momentum to come into this rush. And then as soon as he can see the full number of the offensive tackle and making sure that the tackle's squared up to him, that's when he then goes for his move, ducks really, really low. You can see how low he is. He's probably at knee height of the offensive tackle. And as I said, the right tackle's got absolutely nothing to work with here. He can't get any hands on Von Miller and guide him away from the quarterback, and it's a massive sack. This second pass rush move is almost identical. It's out of empty, and this time you've got the running back lined up on the outside of the right tackle. But in essence, he's going to try and do the same thing. He's going to try and chip Von Miller before heading out into the flat. But Von Miller's so used to facing these chips and double teams, he just overcomes them all the time. So you can see again here, makes himself really skinny. The running back's got nothing to try and chip him with because he needs to get off on his route into the flat. And then here, he doesn't even really have to go down as low as he does, I don't think. The right tackle's a big old guy, and Von Miller is so speedy, he just rushes right around him. But the thing that is most impressive about Von Miller, and is why he cleans up so many sacks and has done in the past, is how he flattens his path to the quarterback. Once he goes past that offensive tackle, quite often they'd have taken him around the pocket and actually done what their offensive line coach and offensive coordinator would want. But Von Miller is so elite at when he gets past these offensive tackles, he stays low to the ground, which allows him to change direction quickly, and he flattens his path to the quarterback to make sure that he's not running right by them. And that's how he cleans up so much of the time. And it's no different here, just breezes past the right tackle, stays low to the ground, and then explodes up towards Zach Wilson and forces the sack. Okay, well, surely now you're thinking, well, of course, as an offensive tackle, you're just going to try and drop as far as you can and force him around the quarterback because he's so quick. Well, that's where Von Miller brings in his counter. So in this clip against the Raiders here, you can see he starts really wide, and he does this. It's sort of the same thing that Khalil Mack does. Both really wide outside linebackers. They do this because they're so quick, and they try and make their path easier towards the quarterback. So you can see here, the right tackle, he's kick-stepping backwards, and Von Miller just shapes as if he's going to go to the outside like he normally does. And the right tackle's so worried about getting beat for pace, he completely flips his hips, and his hips are almost facing back towards his own goal line. And it's just at that point that the right tackle flips his hips. Von Miller stamps that left foot in the ground, plants off it, and shoots back inside into the B-gap. He doesn't rely on just pushing the right tackle to the side and flying through the B-gap towards the quarterback. He shoves him over. This is a big 300-pound plus guy that he's just absolutely manhandled while running at virtually full speed towards the quarterback. This is not an easy thing to do at all, but Von Miller just makes it look like routine stuff. And with no tackle to block him, he's got a clear path to the quarterback. And then just the second clip from this season against the Giants, it's almost a carbon copy. He comes off the same side. And I'm convinced that Von Miller is actually working down to the fine details of looking at when the offensive tackle is moving his right foot and when he's moving his left foot backwards in terms of when he uses that counter move. So on both of those rushes, you can actually see that Von Miller waits until the right tackle pulls his right foot back. So in other words, when his hips are most open and towards the sideline, before he jabs inside and penetrates that B gap. So as I said, the right tackle here is just dragging that right foot back for the kick step, and before he just squares his hips right back up, Von Miller's left foot is already in the ground. He's already flying right inside. And because then the right tackle sees him go inside, he has to try and quickly get his hips back, set square north to south, and try and close up that B gap but he's massively off balance because of his hip position and his feet position, and it just makes it really easy for Von Miller to push him over. And you might think that both of these right tackles did a poor job. Well, yes, potentially they could have done a bit better, and it looks like they're really weak and they've never played the game of football before. That's what Von Miller does to them. He gets them on the perfect step so that when they're moving backwards, they're at their weakest point, they've got no balance, and Von Miller just uses all that hand power and upper body strength to send them falling back while opening up his path to the quarterback. So now you've seen how hard it really is as an offensive tackle to block him, whether that be on the outside or his counter move inside. Okay, so we've looked at the pass rush. I just want to quickly have a look at a couple of run defense clips because he also excels in this. So his first clip is a goal line stand from against the Raiders. You can see he actually sets up his middle linebacker here, just behind the defensive lineman, and he can see the left side of the line crash downwards. So he doesn't panic. He doesn't get caught up in the melee of the defensive lineman and the offensive lineman crashing down to their right. He just scrapes around the outside. He can see that Ingold's going to get the handoff, and he puts himself in between the goal line and Ingold, makes a huge stop, and holds Ingold long enough for those other defenders to fly in, help him out, and stop Ingold getting over the goal line. Great reading of the blocks in front of him. It's good patience because it's really easy when you're that close to the goal line to panic and just fly into the A gap, the B gap to try and stack it up and stop them getting through. But really nice patience to scrape around the outside and make a play on the ball and stop Ingold from getting there. And then this second play was from against the Giants this year. So they're going to run a jet sweep to the right hand side, up to Von Miller's side. And it's just the footwork that beats the tight end yet again. He takes a step to the tight end's right, so the tight end opens his hips, and then virtually immediately after comes back to the inside. Great cross chop with the hands, just to push number 80 out of the way, and he's right in the backfield. And then it's just great tracking to keep his eyes on Kadarius Toney the whole way. And Toney's a really elusive guy, so he does a really great job of wrapping him up and bringing him down for a big loss. This was a -5 or -6 yards tackle for loss. That just takes any momentum out of a drive offensively, and it's big time plays like this that are exactly what the LA Rams are after. So I briefly touched on it at the start of the video. I think this is a great trade for both teams. There are some questions over Von Miller's health and, you know, his longevity, how long he's going to be around for, will he be able to play all of the games in the season? But I think so far in this 2021 season, he's sort of put some of those doubts to bed. He's been playing at a really, really high level like he was in 2018 and in the years before that. And obviously, it's a massive haul to give up from the Rams now that they've barely got any 2022 picks. But Les Snead and the team over at the LA Rams clearly think that this is their shot at a Super Bowl, and they're not going to hesitate. They're not going to wait like a few other teams. They firmly think that this is their year to get a Super Bowl, so they're going all in to go and do it. And I love the aggressiveness. I hope it pays off because it'll be a great story if it does. But yeah, really aggressive move. I think Von Miller's going to suit this team perfectly because of the 3-4 defense that they play and giving Von Miller the freedom to play on both sides of the line. And I'm really excited to see how he transitions and how he does in Raheem Morris's defense. So thanks for making it to this stage of the video. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. Really helps me to grow the channel, get this video out to more people. Let me know in the comments what you thought about Von Miller, what you thought about the video in general. I'll see you in the next one.